All right, all right, all right. Let's get into it. What's happening, everybody? Hope everybody is doing good on this Monday, on this last Monday of January. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing great. Let's go ahead and tap in. Come in, sit down. Come into the comments, sit down. Tell me how you're doing. Tell me what's going on, and let's go ahead and get into it. Tried a different platform today as far as my streaming, so I had to make sure that everything is good. Make sure I can see the comments. Make sure I'm good to go. And we'll get rocking and rolling on today's topic. All right, cool. What's happening, y'all? Name for those of y'all who are new, my name is Cameron Lovelace. I am a mental health specialist that specializes in helping people like you maintain their mental wellness so that it doesn't get in the way of their performance. So, what I basically do is I make sure that your health and wellness on the mental side is maintained at an optimal rate so that you can have peak performance. So, but today's topic is along that same vein in the sense of work life balance, or in what I like to call work life integration. But before we can get into really what integration really looks like, really what it really means, we got to really address the elephant in the room, and that is work life balance and why people really struggle with that. Like, why do people have a tough time balancing personal life and their professional aspirations? Working all this time and then also having this, or feeling that if they're too much in their personal life, that they might feel guilty about it in their professional life. But then at the same time, they feel guilty if they're having too much professional and not enough personal time with their friends, not enough personal time with their kids, not enough personal time with their spouses, and they're sacrificing that to grow and work. But it's this dance that people really struggle with year after year after year. And that's the first thing that I really got to address that I really got to address with this is balance is a myth. It's a myth that we don't it's a myth that we're never going to be able to really achieve, because thinking about it logically, you're supposed to have 24 hours in a day. 8 of those hours you're supposed to be sleeping. 8 of those hours you're supposed to be working, and then you got 8 hours for yourself. But that's a logical perspective. When we look at the real perspective, you got to factor into the thing of time when we have to work maybe more than 8 hours. Maybe we have to work 9 hours. Maybe we have to work 10 hours one day, and then that impedes into our personal time. And then there's sometimes when we don't get enough sleep, and then there's sometimes we need to really take a step back and take care of things in our personal life that may require a whole bunch more time. And so there's never going to be a perfect balance amongst personal and professional. I even give you an example. Like, I was watching a show with my wife one day, and it was about some people in another country. But one of the characters, one of the people was a successful entrepreneur, and she basically had every single hour of the day blocked off and dedicated to a certain thing. Now, those of you who are professionals be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Except when you look into the outside of work stuff as well. When we're talking about facial routine, we're talking about when we eat, we're talking about this, we're talking about that. And you're like, okay, Cameron, I still don't see the problem. Like, what she just has it all lined up and she makes sure that things get done. It actually sounds very proficient. Except when her husband got home, because her husband got home much later than her. Her husband got home and was like, "Hey, can you come down and eat dinner with me? I just got home. I haven't seen you all day. Let's have dinner together." And she's like, "No, actually, I already ate like 2 3 hours ago. I'm doing my bedtime routine. I'm doing my skin routine. I'm doing my thing. So I'm finna get ready for bed. So I can give you maybe 10. I can give you maybe 5 minutes." And her husband's like, "Wait, what?" Because he's successful in his own right as well. But doing those type of activities, really clocking your every single moment and trying to balance it from a logistical standpoint can make you seem very impersonal. It can make you seem very robotic, and it can have you missing out on, living your life, especially when surprises happen. Because we know life is going to come with a surprise here and there that's going to be able to throw you off. And what you don't want is it to get to the point to where you are so committed to your schedule, you're so committed to your professional progression that you don't have the wiggle room to navigate and make time for the things that are really important to you and the people that are really important to you. I mean, it was to the point to where they were having a conversation jokingly, but I think she was very serious. He was like, "So what about intimacy? Do I need to schedule that?" He's like, "Yeah, you can schedule that like 2 to 3 days in advance." And he's like, "What?" Now, here's the thing. When you can, like, I know some of y'all like have heard from different relationship gurus that maybe you should schedule that intimacy time so that people can be more locked in. But any intimacy at all, not every single intimacy. Obviously, sometimes intimacy is more spontaneous. It's in the mood. It happens in the spur of the moment. But you gotta be willing to allow that to happen. And if your life is robotic in that nature where every single thing is lined up, then you get to miss out on that, as well as other things that happen. Those of us who have children, those of us who have family, those of us who have friends, those of us, life be lifing. And so you got to be able to have time for that. But you got to want, you at the same time, you don't want to sacrifice your personal productivity, or your professional productivity and your professional progression. So I get that. So we have to really learn how to integrate them together, making them operate. And one of my coaches taught me a long time ago, you have to operate in rhythm more so than in balance. Because the thing about it is, every part of the year has a different season. There are different parts of the year that require different levels of focus and attention and energy. Example, for those of you who are in sales, you guys are probably going to be getting ready to gear up for, excuse me, you're getting ready to gear up for February and March. Why are you getting ready for February and March? Because that is tax return season. That's when people start to get in their money back from tax returns, thousands of hundreds of dollars, and they're ready to spend that money. So you're getting your campaigns ready probably right now to get ready to get in front of them to get their money. If you are in education, you're chilling right now in January, but come after February, we're getting ready for March. That's going to be the end of the first quarter. And then you're getting ready for standardized testing season. You're getting ready for AP testing season. If you are in healthcare, you might be slowing down for the sicknesses, the flu season. Flu season might be coming to an end, but when allergy season comes, the springtime comes, you have to understand, and I'm sure you do by now. Hopefully, you do by now. You have to understand your specific industry, what rhythm and life cycles come with that, and with those different life cycles, it requires a different level of attention, focus, energy. Hopefully, you're paying attention to that. And this is where people get into space of, if I can just get to this date, if I can just get to here, then, I'll be able to rest a little bit more. I'll be able to ease in a little bit more. And based on your industry, I want you to start to articulate to yourself, okay, this time to this time is probably going to be busy. This time to this time is probably going to be intense. This 2-week period, this 5-week period, this 3-day period is going to be intense. And I'm leading up to those particular events. So when those things are happening mentally, you have to be preparing for those things. Mentally, you have to be taking note of those things. Mentally, you have to be saying, okay, I need this, this, and this because all of this is going on. And then I want you to communicate that, obviously, to the most important people in your life. This is where we really struggle because we get too locked in on work. We get too locked in on building, on working, on grinding, that we forget about those specific things because our personal life has life cycles as well. I'll share with you, like, personal life cycle of mine is March, April, and May. For me, since 2019, since my first wedding anniversary, this has been the schedule that it's been on. In March is my birthday. So we have to make sure that we plan something, we do something, whether I'm letting friends come in out of town or whether we're just going to dinner. But that is my birthday. In April is my wedding anniversary. Again, we've been married since 2018. So every year, whether we're going out of town or we're just going to dinner or we're doing something spontaneous, whatever the case may be, I know that that period of time, probably about 3 period days at least, if not a week, if not we're going out of the country, I got a plan for that. And then in May is my wife's birthday. So I know that March, April, May, every year, which for me is, the ending of Q1, starting of Q2. But I know that in my personal life is those particular weeks, because I would say about weeks of time, those particular weeks in time are going to be very important to me, and where I have to be able to disconnect from work. And because of those things, even the contracts, the long-term contracts that I have with the organizations I have, they know March, April, May, there's going to be a moment in time where Cameron's not here. And they know that. Like I was talking to somebody months ago, and and it's actually so funny. And it was like, wait, yeah, because it's your birthday, your anniversary, and your wife's birthday, right? And it was like, yeah. And so when you are able to prioritize and know what is important to you, it becomes seamless to integrate. People that are not even, a part of your personal life, they're a part of your professional life because they know where your priorities lie. And so you have to be able to take the stand and say, okay, this particular season in my life, these are the priority. This is what's important, and this is where I'm shifting my focus to. Right? Now, here's the thing. When you take those stands, you got to be locked in. If there's a season happening in your professional life, example, if you got kids and those kids are teenagers and those activities that they're doing requires them to travel to a tournament, to a competition at a time, you got to be locked in and you got to be present because your kids need you. So that means unplug from the emails. Don't be worried about that. If you can, put your phone on do not disturb, put your email response on, out of office until Monday, and be totally locked in. Because when you're at work, chances are you're locked in over there too. You're not able to take personal phone calls. You're not able to respond to streaks on TikTok. You're not able to really just answer the phone when your boo thing call or your best friend call. You gotta say, hey, I'll catch you at 6:00 when I get off, when I get home, after I've taken a shower, all that good stuff. You got to be willing to put parameters when you are locked into those specific points of your life. That is work-life integration. That is where you're really going to find satisfaction out of both professional and your personal life. You feel me? So I really want you to think about it. And as you think about, what my season is looking like, what is required from these particular things, I want you to take these things into account. The first thing, I want you to learn how to prioritize your health. If you're not already, some of you are killing it, others are not. I want you to say, okay, at all times, no matter how busy it is, I have to make sure that my health and well-being is as good as it can be. If that means I need to make sure if this is going to be a busy 2-week period, I got to make sure I'm going to sleep on time. I can't be at work. I can't be in my personal life, not physically and going through a sleep drunk, not being as sharp because I want to stay up and scroll on TikTok, because I wanted to stay up and watch this on Netflix. I want to stay up and do this. So prioritizing my sleep is going to help me be better, or making sure that I get to the gym because I'm going to be out of town for this amount of time. So before I go out of town, I got to make sure I hit my gym days because I have a tendency to not work out when I go out of town. Or if I do go out of town, let me make sure I can prioritize. Does the hotel I'm staying at have a gym? Do I have something nutritional instead of eating out or ordering DoorDash? In all levels, especially in your busy seasons, I want you to prioritize your health. Whether it's something happening in your personal that requires a whole lot of familial attention, that requires you to lock in on your relationship, or whether it's really, really something important that's going to take you to the next level in your professional life, both aspects, you have to prioritize your health and well-being. Because if your health isn't right, those things are in jeopardy. If you're constantly dealing with high blood pressure, with symptoms of diabetes, you're having asthma attack, your anxiety's all over the place, you're feeling depressed, you don't have the energy, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're all the way stressed out, it's going to get in the way of your personal and your professional life. So we must at all times learn to prioritize your health in more aspects than one: physical and mental. Getting enough sleep, getting enough to eat, getting the right things to eat, moving our body. All of these things are going to be very important when it comes to work-life balance. Now, that is the thing, work-life integration, because when the health is off, all of these things can fall to the wayside. The next thing that we have to take into consider when deciding, with our work-life integration is quality over quantity. And what I mean by that is don't get wrapped up in, I have to get this amount of hours with my loved ones. I have to put in this amount of hours with work. And so, excuse me. Something just came over me. I'm sorry about that. But don't worry about the numbers. Don't prioritize the numbers. Prioritize the amount of quality that you can put into that. So, for example, I was talking with somebody, and they talked about how in their previous career, how they were on the road like 5 days out the week or 4 days out the week consistently, and they would always be traveling and always be gone, and yet they still maintained a healthy marriage. And in talking with him about that, he said that he really had to, one, his wife was very understanding. His wife knew what she signed up for in the career that he was in at that time. And the way that he broke it down was he really prioritized that quality of time. Those times, those weekends, those couple days where it wasn't work, he really prioritized that time with his family. Whether it was a softball game, whether it was going to dinner, whether it was just hanging out with a movie, he really took the time to really lock in once he had that free time. And that's what I mean by the quality over the quantity. Because your career, your business, it may require a lot of time from you. It may require you to put in 50, 60, 70, 80-hour weeks, but make sure that the rest of that time that you're giving, not only to yourself, but also to your loved ones, your friends, your family, your spouses, your children, the people that really matter, the hobbies that really matter, make sure that you can put a fully committed time. Like if you can only give them, Saturday, give them Saturday. Lock in on Saturday. Don't be checking your email. Don't be answering the phone. Tell the people at work, look, this is my one day with my family. I will not let you impede on this. When you send that email, I will answer it on Sunday. But Saturday, I might see it, but I'm not going to respond. And that is the type of quality and attention that you have to be able to give. So don't prioritize when it comes to integration. Don't prioritize quantity when it comes to time. Don't prioritize quantity when it comes to effort. Think of what can I do to make sure that this is the best that I can do in this time. And last and certainly not least, when deciding what goes into the integration, this work life integration, is what's important to you. What's value? What's valuable to you? When we talk about values, what's valuable to you? What are the most valuable things? If your kids, your spouse, your loved ones, you say, are the most important things in your life, then we need to prioritize that first. Shout out to my aunts and uncles. I have a cousin who's a phenomenal athlete, like projected like near the top of his graduating class. But during the summertime, it's priority for him because it's tournaments, it's traveling to this state, traveling to that state, making sure that he is where he needs to be and that he's fully supported. Now, could they send him by himself with his teammates or with his coaches? Yeah, they probably could do that, but for them, being there, being present to physically support him, being physically present at his games is a priority to them. And so when it comes to work during that time, work is over here. I will lock in when I get back, but right now at this time, it's all about my child and what my child needs, because when he turns 18, he's got to make his own decision. He's got to live his own life, and he's going to be able to lean back and say that, my parents were here for me. My parents supported me. My parents put me in the best position that they could to make sure I was successful. That was valuable to them. That's important to them. So shout out to them for that. And so I want to challenge to you, what are the most important things in your life? Because if they are the most important things, then they should take priority when it comes to work. They should take priority. Even when you are a high performer, even when you are as productive as you can be, if you're in the middle of preparing for a meeting, and then you get a call that one of your family members, one of your favorite family members is in the hospital, it moves to the top of the priority list. It moves to the top of the values list. Now, at the same time, it's not all about people. It's not all about your family. It's about you as well. So what is important for you? I was having a conversation with one of my clients, and they talked about how they kind of lost themselves. Like they fell so intently into their work. They fell so intently into their pursuit of their professional progression that they lost their personal hobbies, their personal loves for what they're doing. And so we had a conversation about, really, okay, if this is, you don't feel like who you are, then we need to see how we can integrate and place strategically, like, where are the gaps that we can put the most important things to you. We're talking about making sure that your mental health is good, making sure that you do this hobby that you used to do back when you were in high school that you fell out of touch with, making sure that you're active, making sure that you have a level of community. And see, all of these things are what fuel your mental wellness. Making sure that you have a personality, a connection outside of work, outside of your professional aspirations, your certifications, your sales, your finances, making sure that you're taking care of the person, and at the same time making sure that person is right so that you can be the best that you can be professionally. so that your business can take off and meet the goals that you need it to. Get what I'm saying? So when it comes to work-life integration, it can be done. You absolutely can have a phenomenal, a spectacular professional career and still have a great personal life. But it is intentional. It will be you taking the time to look at everything, the things that you need, the things that you want, and saying, you know what? This is the season. This is the time. This is the time to focus on this. This is the time to focus on work. This is the time to focus on family. This is the time to, lock in on that. This is the time to take a step back. But it is possible. And each one of you can do it. Now, it can get overwhelming. It can get uncomfortable. But you want to make sure that you are taking the time and getting the tools that you need to be able to master that. Okay? Now, that starts with, bringing your boy in to have a talk with your team, to have a talk with your employers, have a talk with that, and really put together a program that gets you good. We can do that. Hit the link below. We can get to that. If you just want you just want the information, you want the knowledge, you want the mental health exercises, hit the link below. You get 25% off. Go ahead and handle that. I can do that. I can help you. I'm going to be here in the future, Mondays, to give you the tips to be able to do that. But it can be done, which is the most important takeaway that I want you to do. Okay? All right, guys. Go ahead and get on out of here. Hopefully everything recorded properly. And I'll see y'all next week. Peace.